So if I've had guys say, well, if you know what you're talking about, why don't you just teach us everything and show everything and give away your stuff for free in video? So first of all, I do these 10-minute videos on TikTok because it's convenient. I can't give you a whole lesson on a particular topic in 10 minutes. Second of all, I'm not going to give the whole farm away and give everything that I've learned through blood, sweat, and tears. Only a welfare mentality, FAG, would demand from some other guy, you have to share your free stuff, your secrets with me for free. But I give you 60, I've added up more recently, I got $60,000 worth of free information on YouTube. It costs that much if a lawyer told you that stuff. But a lawyer won't even tell you those things that I'm talking about. You will not even get that stuff from a lawyer. So, you know, the guy who called me the other day saying, oh, you don't know what you're talking about. I don't think you're real. I show you guys my winning orders. I have a video where I go through my docket online. You guys could go to King County's website and look me up and then find my case and look at, when I got my parenting plan that I show you guys, it never got modified. You can look at all 1,100 documents or skim through. There is no modification of a parenting plan or new parenting plan. When you're not fake like me, you don't have nothing to hide. And when you're vulnerable and open or transparent, not vulnerable, when you're transparent like I am, you don't got anything to hide. So the haters, they have to hang up on you like that guy did when I called him back. Anyway, some people are, so what is it that you want? What is it you want to know? Do I need to get on here and tell you all the stuff that I know before I prove that I know it and give it all away for free? If you look at my winning orders, I got full custody. I won in the Court of Appeals twice against an attorney with 40 years experience. I got the mother found in contempt the first time I tried. I got a trophy set or a trophy case of winning orders that you could only dream of. And I did a lot of that early on in my case. That should be enough. But that being said, what do you want? Let me go through stuff real quick. When you start off a case, you got to understand the statutes in your state for determining the factors for determining custody. I got links to a lot of them in my flow pages. Most of you never even check out. I give you guys free stuff you're not even checking out, and you whine, cry, piss, and moan that I'm not giving enough stuff away for free. You're a lazy ass bitch who won't go. You don't love your kid enough to go look and click with the mouse on some free stuff that I never had back in the day when in 2001 when I got full custody. I didn't have more than 1% of the information. I'm giving you guys 100 times the information that I had, and you're still whining and crying and pissing and moaning. Why? Because there will always be, just like we will always have the poor, like Jesus said, we will always have PAB fathers, punk, gluteus maximus, female dog fathers, whining and crying and pissing and moaning, just being on the sideline, don't want to get in the fight and fight for their kids. They want to feel entitled and have somebody hand it to them. So, everybody needs to know the factors in law. Just Google the name of your state, factors, custody, statute, best interest of child. Boom, there it is. There you go, freebie. Your attorney, 99% of you, when I talk to people, they don't even know what the factors are in the law in their state. Some people do, but 99% of the guys don't. And you paid an attorney at law who's going to a court of law to fight for your lawful rights, and you don't even know what the law says. That's freaking insane. You are a subhuman piece of manure if you have the audacity to talk crap to me and you don't have anything bad to say about your lawyer that didn't tell you that stuff that I'm giving away for free. You start a case, you need to know the law. You need to know how to look up case law. I give you Troxel versus Grandin on the presumption of parents. And what is the presumption every court needs to know about parents that you guys never tell the court? You need to know the court rules. You need to know the statewide rules and the local rules for your county. The statewide rules might say, hey, when you file a motion, make sure you sign it and file with the clerk. But your local rule on motions might say, hey, you got 25-page limit. You have to give 14 days notice. You have to get on this calendar. You have to file a notice of hearing calendar. And then, you know, the other side gets to respond 3 days before the hearing. You get to do a reply 2 days before the hearing. You get 10 minutes of oral argument. Those might be local rules. You also need to know, like, the statewide rules on discovery, doing depositions, interrogatories, requests for production, requests for admission. I have free sample interrogatories in my flow page. I got a packet of interrogatories with hundreds of questions. and different types of interrogatories, child support, custody issues, financial stuff. Did your attorney even tell you about the option of doing deposition? Everybody should do a deposition as soon as their case starts. You want to know the rules that give you all kinds of options, like motions for reconsideration, usually within 10 days. In California, it's within 30 days. There's another state. In Florida, I don't think there's a limit on it. There's a difference between motion for new trial and motion for reconsideration. If you miss the deadline for reconsideration, there's a motion to vacate. And then, of course, there's appeals. Then there's dealing with restraining orders, defending yourself against a restraining order, doing a motion to quash, terminate, or modify or dissolve the protection order before you have the full return hearing. You should know the rules on the notice that they're supposed to give and what the exception is to give a notice when they go into ex parte for an emergency motion. Those rules are the injunction rules. Usually it's Civil Rule 65 in most states. If you Google your state, civil rules injunctions, you'll find the rules on that. When the mother goes in and gets an emergency order behind your back and doesn't give you notice, she's supposed to give you notice, unless she has an irreparable harm exception. Do you know what those are? You should know them. You should be doing a motion to quash. I didn't know about a motion to quash. Nobody told me about it. The guy who was mentoring me didn't tell me about it. He just helped me with defending myself in the restraining order hearing. That's a great reason to be doing a deposition. Do you know all the free resources out there? Have you done any research of quoting attorneys, judges, investigators, law professors who say that women lie about protection orders more often than not? Are you using all the scientific data about the needs for children? Are you telling the court why they have to follow the science? Are you using the COVID comparison argument? We followed the science during COVID, shut down the whole world. A lot of women will say, well, it's just real inconvenient. It's going to alter the child's life. It's going to be inconvenient for me to travel that far. We shut down the entire world and people lost their livelihoods. Why? Because we had to trust the science and follow the science. Why can't we follow the science when it comes to kids? This should be a major argument in every court case. Even though I preach this all the time, 99% of you aren't using it. Why? Because you're a ballless coward whose testicles never dropped. Oh, I can't go in there and say that. That's unconventional. Okay, well then do the conventional thing and get your conventional ass conventionally getting every other weekend and you're a slave parent. Do the conventional stuff, dumbass. Of course, at the end, when you're done, you don't like what you got, you can do an appeal. You can do a motion for reconsideration on an appeal. You can do a motion on the merits if the other side isn't doing their brief on an appeal. Then there's demand letters. Then there's a paper trail of letters that you want to do outside of court. But really, this is mostly about the war of attrition. Do you know what that is? So I just gave you about 20, 25 little points here and there from like rules, law, and you need to know how to look up case law. You need to know the citation for a case law. It has the name of the case, where it's found in the local library, where it's found in the regional reporters, and the year. And then you need to know what's the volume number, what's the page number, and you need to know how to cite and know what case law is and how it's a legal authority. And you need to know the difference between persuasive authority and mandatory authority. So I've given you about 20, 25 little pointers here. I could do a lecture for 5 hours on each one of those. And your punk ass is out here saying you're not telling us enough. Get an appointment, bitch. It's your loss. That's the crazy part. People are like, oh, you don't exercise good business practice when you're trying to recruit clients and sell your services. Bitch, my service sells itself. Only haters like you, the offended ones, would say, oh my God, James is not talking like a lawyer or a professional. Those are the con artists. Those are the snake oil salesmen. Why do you want me to talk like them? Because you're a thin-skinned, overly sensitive bitch. I throw a rock out there that says, if you don't want to fight for your kid, you're a punk-ass coward. You should go all in with everything you got, learn how to fight for your kid the right way. If you went to court and represented yourself in loss or had an attorney loss, you did it the wrong way. People don't like it because they spent a bunch of money and they worked hard and they suffered and they feel like I'm shitting on their suffering. If you do something wrong and you suffered for doing something wrong, like eat a bunch of cake and don't move and you're still fat and somebody says you're doing it wrong, you shouldn't be butthurt about it. So there you go. I can't possibly do a video on all that shit. Get a consultation.